Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Say goodbye to above zero temperatures for the next few days and make sure you and your family take the necessary precautions to deal with what will be the coldest conditions we've seen in years.
It already feels nasty outside, and we're not even close to bottoming out. That happens later this week. Let's begin with what's happening right now in the valley, and Hutch is here for that. Hutch?
Well, right now temperatures are holding on, but we're at 0 degrees, and we will not be back above zero until we get into Friday in many areas. Air temperatures could be as low in places as 50 below zero. Factor in wind of 5 to 15 miles per hour, and that means the possibility for wind chills to approach 70 below is indeed real as we go through the bulk of our work week. Record lows are possible. Also, we could tie or set record coldest highs ever for particular dates across the valley. Keep in mind, remember your four-legged friends and livestock, dress in layers. Make sure you have a survival kit no matter how short your trip. Frostbite can set in less than 10 minutes. And you can get the latest on valleynewslive.com regarding any impacts like cancellations. Wind chill warning until Thursday for the entire region. It's 7 below in Grand Forks, 8 below in Thief River Falls, Detroit Lakes, 2 below zero. Hey, tonight we have some wind out there. It's picking up that fluffy snow. It's causing reduced visibility, at times near zero. So travel tonight not only dangerous with the cold moving in, but we do have that fluffy snow flying around as well. Hour by hour details on this Arctic blast. If you can grin and bear it with me, I'll have those details in a few minutes.
All right, we need to persevere over the next several days. That's the bottom line.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
With temperatures plummeting the next 48 hours, keeping a warm home is a major concern for most in the valley. Heating companies say it all comes down to preparation, adding to make sure your exhaust pipes are cleared out and filters clean. And when it comes to keeping yourself warm, experts say to add all the layers to avoid hypothermia and frostbite, saying that frostbite will set in less than 5 minutes in the frigid temperatures that we'll see this week.
Most of the time it's shallow enough and it's not a problem, but if there is a significant frostbite injury, the first thing you'll notice is some blistering. It will look like almost like a burn.
Dr. Beauclair says if you think you have mild frostbite, to run your hands or toes under room temperature water until they warm back up. So how cold is too cold? We ask local school districts how they determine whether it's too cold for classes.
Valley News Team's education reporter Veronica Marshall has those details. Veronica?
Fargo and West Fargo school districts tell me they don't have a set temperature when it comes to closing school, but they do consider several different factors.
I'm originally from Strasburg, North Dakota. I lived 18 miles from town, so I know what it was like to ride school bus every day.
Burgad is no stranger to winter weather.
We had some pretty tough winters, and some of the challenges was the thawing of the roads, and I remember our buses being stuck on muddy roads many times.
Now he's part of the team that determines whether West Fargo schools will stay open or close due to the cold temperatures that are on the way. And those memories are a helpful guide.
West Fargo does have some rail routes, so our buses will have to be out there in the country. That's one concern, of whether they're going to gel up and how they'll be able to function when it becomes 50 or 60 below wind chill.
Fluid lines freeze, air lines freeze. Everything is just very tender and vulnerable. So we have more breakdowns, and then that obviously causes stress out there on the roads, because then you have to go out and rescue a bus, bring out another one, to have the kids transfer.
McLaughlin says buses often do run late in cold temperatures because they can face extreme mechanical challenges, and that can put students in danger.
The main thing to worry about from a public standpoint is the kids that are on the corners. How long do they have to stand there? If you're running 5 to 10 minutes late and it's 20 below out with a 20-mile-an-hour wind, I mean, that's extremely painful, and nobody should really have to go through that.
Local school districts and universities will be part of a conference call on Tuesday morning. They'll hear from meteorologists on the latest projections and models for the weather. They tell me that information will help them determine whether or not to close school on Wednesday. But just because there's no school doesn't mean it's always a day off.
I lived on a farm, so I had to go out and work, so it didn't make much difference.
In Fargo and West Fargo, if parents decide to pull their students out of school due to weather safety concerns, it does count as an excused absence. That means students will have the opportunity to make up their missed work. Mike?
All right, thanks, Veronica. One concern from parents is if school closes, what about child care? The Department of Human Services says it's up to each individual child care center how they'd like to handle the winter weather. Schools, colleges, and businesses are already posting delays and closings for tomorrow on valleynewslive.com, some lasting until Thursday due to those dangerously cold temps. You should check that to stay on top of the latest announcements. Do so by going to our website and click on the gold closings and delays bar for an up-to-date list. In other news tonight, police have identified the couple involved in what officers describe as an apparent murder-suicide. Authorities say that 78-year-old John Hamm and 80-year-old Lois Hamm were the victims. It happened at a home on the 1800 block of 16th Street South in Fargo. The elderly couple was found with apparent gunshot wounds.
Only 6 states and Washington, D.C. have paid family leave plans. Some North Dakota lawmakers want to be the next state to do so. The program would mandate businesses with more than 50 employees offer paid leave. An employee would make 66% of their wages. Under the proposal, a person could have 12 weeks of coverage every calendar year. The idea is drawing a mixed response from people who would use it and people who don't want the government mandating laws like this.
Many individuals want to help their families out when there is a family illness. And when you are working full-time, you many times are unable to take time off because of the loss of wages and the stress that it'll have.
As we saw with other government mandates, many times the employees in the end pay for those mandates, many times depress wages and force employers to look at efficiencies.
The bill also has a section protecting workers from retaliation for using or requesting leave.
North Dakota two-year colleges graduate less than half of their students within 3 years, and 4 universities at least a 52% graduation rate within 6 years. To increase those numbers, 2 bills being considered in Bismarck offer a tuition waiver for students in their final year. Senate Bill 2334 would waive the final year of tuition if the student works in North Dakota for 3 years after graduation. The state's university system says this could help students who need a last little push to finish.
We have had some anecdotal evidence of students dropping out and not completing degrees, and I feel like this particular bill is an incentive to finish some of those technical programs.
Now, the bill received a do not pass recommendation from the Senate Education Committee, but a similar bill that received a passing recommendation would create a skilled workforce scholarship program.
A bill crossing the committee stage today in North Dakota would make it legal for fraternal orders like the Eagles or Elks Club to use gaming money for building maintenance. There are restrictions on what the money from gambling can be used toward, and it is already legal for veterans organizations to use it for maintenance. A member of an Eagles Club says the fraternal orders need better access to the money.
A lot of the fraternal organizations now are losing members. We're having a hard time getting members, and we need something else to help us subsidize our organizations.
2 other bills in committee today would legalize different kinds of sports betting in North Dakota.